Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going way beyond the familiar pill bottle. We're going to dive into some incredible new frontiers in medicine. So, yeah, let's jump right in.
I mean, it seems like such a basic question, doesn't it? But honestly, the answer is changing faster than you can probably imagine. For generations, medicine has really meant one specific thing for most people.
Yep, you guessed it, a pill. A chemical compound, something that's been carefully designed that you swallow to try and fix whatever's wrong. And look, that is the absolute foundation of modern healthcare, but it's just not the only tool in the toolbox anymore.
Okay, so here's the plan for today's explainer. We're going to start with what we all know, the chemical pill. Then we'll take a journey into some wilder stuff. Medicine that's electric, software you can get on prescription, and even therapy that happens inside the metaverse. And then, at the end, we'll tie it all together.
All right, first up, let's start by grounding ourselves in the powerhouse we're all familiar with, the pharmaceutical. This is the absolute bedrock of modern medicine. Its impact, totally undeniable.
So what are they really? At their core, pharmaceuticals are all about chemistry. It's like this. Think of them as these tiny little molecular keys, right? And they're designed to fit perfectly into our body's locks. The receptors and enzymes in our cells. And their job is to turn a biological process either on or off.
And you definitely know these names, or at least you know what they do. You've got Lipitor for cholesterol, amoxicillin to fight off an infection. These chemicals are just part of our everyday lives. And for good reason. They're targeted, they're powerful, and they work.
And the sheer scale of it all, it's just staggering. We're talking about a global market for pharmaceuticals worth around $1.6 trillion. That number alone just shows you how completely central this one type of medicine is to our entire global health system.
But of course, the story doesn't stop with chemistry. So here's a question. What if, instead of a chemical that kind of floods your whole system, what if you could use a super precise electrical signal to talk directly to one specific nerve? Well, welcome to the world of Electriceuticals.
Now, this is a really fundamental shift in how we think about treatment. We're moving away from chemistry and into the realm of physics. The idea here is that Electriceuticals work by tapping into the body's own electrical wiring, that's our nervous system, to correct signals that have just gone haywire.
And listen, this isn't some far-off science fiction. Some of these things are already really well established. The pacemaker is the classic example, right? But now we've got devices that can stimulate the vagus nerve to treat epilepsy, or devices that stimulate the spinal cord to literally block chronic pain signals. It's targeted electrical medicine.
Now, it's not on the same scale as pharma, not yet anyway, but the market for these devices is projected to hit somewhere around $60 to $70 billion by 2030. That tells you this is a serious and very rapidly growing field of medicine. Okay, so we've talked about chemicals and we've talked about electrical hardware. But what if medicine wasn't a physical thing at all? What if your doctor could actually write you a prescription for a piece of software? Well, this is the wild world of Digiceuticals.
And this is a complete game changer. We are talking about clinically proven, FDA-approved software that is specifically designed to treat a medical condition, and it's delivered right to your smartphone or your tablet. It is quite literally software as medicine.
What's so incredible about this field is just how diverse it is. The one that gets all the headlines is Endeavor RX, and for good reason. It's an actual video game that a doctor can prescribe to help kids with ADHD improve their attention. But you also have apps that deliver cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, or ones that help people manage opioid use disorder. It's amazing.
So yeah, this market is definitely still in its early days, but it is just exploding with potential. We're looking at projections of over $20 billion by 2030. This really does represent a huge shift in how we even think about delivering and accessing healthcare.
All right, on to our final frontier, which takes this whole digital idea one massive step further. What if therapy wasn't something you take or even an app you use, but an actual place that you go to? Let's dive into the emerging world of Metaceuticals.
The key word here, the whole concept, is immersion. Metaceuticals use virtual and augmented reality, VR and AR, to create entire therapeutic worlds.
A patient literally puts on a headset and enters a simulated environment that's been designed specifically for their treatment, whether that's for physical rehab or for psychotherapy.
And the applications are they're incredible. You have veterans using VR to safely confront traumatic memories as part of their PTSD therapy. You have stroke patients using it to relearn motor skills inside these engaging, almost game-like worlds. You even have people with chronic pain using it to find relief, just by immersing their minds somewhere else completely.
Now, we have to be clear here. This is by far the newest category of the bunch. The technology is pretty much here, but the market, the regulations, all that stuff is still being built from the ground up. This is the absolute cutting edge of therapeutic innovation.
So let's recap. We've looked at 4 really distinct categories of medicine: chemicals, electricity, software, and these immersive worlds. So now, let's put them all side by side and really see the big picture.
So this really is the key question, right? How do we make sense of this brand new, expanded toolbox that doctors have? What are the fundamental differences that really define each of these different approaches?
And this table just lays it all out so perfectly. You can really see the evolution here. Look at the core medium. It goes from chemicals to electrical signals to software, and then finally to these immersive environments. And check out the delivery method too. It goes from a pill to an implant to your phone and then to a VR headset. It's such a clear progression from the physical to the digital, and from something that affects your whole system to something that's incredibly precisely targeted.
But you know, the real magic, the real future here isn't about these things competing with each other. It's about how they can all work together. Just imagine a stroke patient, maybe in the year 2030. First, they'd get a pharmaceutical to handle the immediate biological crisis, right? Then maybe an electroceutical implant could help start rewiring the brain. At home, a Digiceuticals app on their tablet would guide their daily rehab exercises and track their progress. And for therapy sessions, they'd use a Metaceuticals VR program to make it all more immersive, more engaging, and way more effective. It's a completely integrated, totally personalized approach to healing.
So let's just end on this one thought. The very definition of medicine is expanding right before our eyes. The next time you need treatment, who knows? The solution might not come from a bottle. It might come from a line of code, a tiny electrical pulse, or even a virtual world that was built just for you. The future of therapeutics is already here, and it's more personal and more powerful than ever before.